And we're back in step 2. Start on step 15. Last time we did baseline capture, step 14, and we were recording that. We're going to do something similar on 15. So we got to upload that unknown capture file. Hopefully you've combined it from last time. If you don't remember how to upload files, let me pull it up. You go to cyber. Okay, so I've saved. So here, I had some issues. I'm going to show you. This is my full unknown. I did baseline last time. You just drag it in, and it should download everything. But I was having some issues. Oh, you can't see it because of my picture. Yeah, I have this issue that pops up down here. I don't know why. So my workaround for this was I zipped the unknown file, and then I tried to move it. And this seems to work. So if you're given that same issue, I don't know, maybe the file's too big and it doesn't like it unless it's a zip file and that big. So I look at Guacamole. That first time when I try to download it over, yeah, it looks like it downloaded, but the size is 0. That size should be way bigger. Now watch, when this finishes, oh wait. Okay. Notice this is like way bigger. So now that it downloaded the zip file, and then this said complete. Double click to open it up. Oh, come on, PLTW. Let's wake up. Let's wake up. Oh, pausing. All right, there, I open it up. You drag it over. Drag this out of the zip file onto your desktop. And then now we can open it. So just double click it. So you might have to zip it. If you don't know how to zip, click the file, Windows, just go to zip, and it'll create it as, you can zip one file. All right, so here's the unknown traffic. Now, I want to do similar we did with like the filters and try to find this, and I'm actually going to document it in step 15. So I'm going to do it for all 3. I'm going to do it for my notes right here. Do unknown 1, 2, and 3. So an unknown 1, let's go back to what that was. Unknown 1 was traffic we were scanning from Target Windows 01, and we're scanning the network through Web 01 right here. So how are we going to see that traffic? So we want to apply a filter, and what's weird on this part is they don't like tell us, they don't give us hints. Load unknown files. How would you analyze this traffic? Okay, so you know it's going to. So here's the thing, we know a little bit about this. So what if we only wanted to see traffic that was 08 and 07 and it's scanning? Now you might be like, scanning, like what kind of traffic is scanning? I don't know either. I had to look up spoilers. But one way to do this is let's look at all traffic that involves 10.2.08, because this is the only of these 3 unknown traffics that'll be there. So I'm going to go ip.adder double equals 10.2.08. And that should be all of your traffic. And in fact, you might even just want to say source traffic. So that everything with the address of 10.2.08, including destination, is there. One thing we can do is instead of saying just the address, we can say source, SRC. And every bit of traffic coming from that would kind of indicate what's going on here. And what you'll see is hundreds of files. So this is all that network traffic going from 08 to trying to scan that network. So there, we saw that traffic. If you had to put a note here, because I think they want some information, maybe I'd put my filter I did, IP.source double equals 10.2.08 is what I had to do. You could write, refer to your network, find the packets that represent unexpected traffic, record the filters you use there, compare the unknown packets to the baseline. What's suspicious? Okay, that's hard to say right now, but I'll tell you, hey, look, all that traffic's suspicious. But honestly, I don't even have the context to understand. Some of those are red. Does that mean the red traffic's bad? I forgot what those color filters mean. I don't want to look it up either. But there you go. That's one way to filter that kind of traffic. Now, okay, that first filter is weird, but the other 2 might make more sense. So let's go let's do the other two. So unknown 2, we'll go back to our notes, should be HTTP traffic with 06 and 07. So let's try that filter. So it should be 06, wait, and IP adder double equals 10 to 07. I'm not going to say source. I'm going to go adder, just be like general. And then I want it to be HTTP traffic. I think we just go HTTP. We got to go and this and this and this. So if I apply that filter, I get some packets. Now you might, okay, I got 2 packets here. So let's say I take this filter I made. Oh, I don't even need to do that. What's cool is it like, it can copy and paste that way real easy. So maybe I do for my unknown 2, there's my filter. And what's supposed to happen, remember this is HTTP traffic. This is not normally supposed to happen. Like between these two. Only HTTP should be from 08, Windows 01 to Web 01, these two. If we're involving pump monitor, that's a little sus. So I'm gonna write that down. You can look at this and go, oh, HTTP, cool. Now let's try that last one. So my last filter, I'm clicking. FTP between Web 01 and Pump PLC. So FTP can happen between these two, Pump PLC and Pump Monitor and Web 01, but not between these two. So you can't just search for FTP because some of that's legit traffic, but FTP and involving both of these at the same time, that's what's sus. So 05, 07. So let's change this to FTP, and we're going to do it 05 and 07. We enter, and notice we get all this traffic. And we go, that shouldn't happen. Well, that's the filter I'm gonna keep right here. So this is gonna be unknown 3. That's the filter I use. And hey, you see a bunch of FTP traffic back and forth between these two. Now, what's weird to me, okay, if let's say we do no filters, this has 17,000, 18,000 packets basically. Now, this is mine. Your version might be a little different. So you might not get the same numbers, but you might have about the same amount. And you know what's going on with most of these packets at the end is transferring that big old file. There's a lot of these like FTP data packets right here in protocol. So there's like FTP and FTP data. It's weird that we didn't see the FTP data to me. I would think that if I had that filter, it would have also seen this. But I don't know. So I don't know. I just thought that was a weird observation. Consider operational requirements network. Okay, blah, blah, blah. So we document those things. You can say, hey, look, I saw some traffic. You should at least write down the filters. That's all I care for that stuff for step 15. All right. Wireshark to analyze traffic, identified detailed information about possible threats to your network. Now, so we've seen these. We use Wireshark to identify this. Now, this next step here is we are going to make modifications to our network to prevent this type of traffic, the unknown traffic. All right. And here's how we're going to do this. We got a little video here on network and host-based firewalls. All right. So watch that video, whatever right there. We're going to be configuring our network right here. So we have to use, and there's a lot of copying and pasting here. And some explanations, I'll put things in my notes. I'm going to close out all this other stuff. We don't need it anymore. We're going to be using this thing called IP tables utility. In this section, you're going to go further to analyze the network traffic activity captured in previous section. You will look deeper into the firewalls and language used to configure them. Specifically, you'll configure the firewall to accept and reject specific input from different hosts. Does it sound familiar? Yeah, it's firewall rules. If you go back to like Unit 1, we had to like configure that in Windows and like deny and allow certain things. And this might be related to that traffic rules. Okay, so that's similar to what we did in Unit 1. But also remember that table that we made. This is my table, like all these things that we want to allow and everything else you say, nah. So we're going to practice implementing these rules because this is the only traffic we want to allow. Okay. So And we're only going to do part of it for this lesson. Just give you an idea. We're going to use a program called IP tables. So IP tables, yeah, just sets all these rules. So here's an example. IP tables, remember how this works with like flags, the -A, -S, and -J. So the flags configure the firewall rules. So we do IP tables, and here's what they do. -A tells the system to add a rule for inbound traffic. So -A, I assume, means like add, and then input. Okay, so it's like it's for inbound traffic. So I'm guessing output would be for like outbound traffic from this computer. And we're going to be doing this from pump PLC only, okay? So -A tells you if it's input or output. S tells you the source address. So IP address. Here, this is like a for example, right? And then -J accept indicates what to do if the packet matches the target. Okay, so this is like you can accept or deny. So kind of like on that table, I have to allow or deny it. That'd be like the -J part. The -S would be the source, if I want to define that. And then tells you if it's inbound or outbound. So that kind of tells you like if there's packets you want to send out from pump PLC or packets you want to accept. So maybe this is similar. You may have similar rules, but not specifically this one. Yeah, this doesn't match anything because this IP address doesn't make sense, right? It's like, hey, let's input anything. So this would basically say anything coming in from this IP address is okay. And maybe you want to do that, like if you're on a network and you want to say, oh, target Windows 01 is legit. They can do anything they want. But we're not going to have that, though. We're going to be a little bit more picky. So we're going to record that command. I put it in here. I'm actually going to add a few more things into this, all the steps, because they recommended this. I assume we're going to need it for future lessons. So here we go. All right. Join a cyber team again. Oh, wow. New lesson. It feels like this should have been another separate lesson. Feels like it was supposed to be. Okay, we're going to open Pump PLC via connections. So go to connections and Pump PLC. Remember this? We have to log into Pump PLC. It's user and password. And that is in my notes. What? What? Pass. Enter. Isn't that what it is? Oh, Pump PLC. That's Pump Monitor. Pump PLC is Vagrant. Vagrant. Oh, it says it right there. I'm an idiot. I'm going to close that off. Open this again. There you go. Vagrant, Vagrant. To prepare your firewalls, reference this sheet. No. Sure, if you want to, but it'll tell us what to do here. Okay, so also review the traffic tables. Okay, cool. We just follow the lessons, what they do. So a note here. So we're going to copy these steps. They tell us we have to use sudo because a sudo makes you a super user because IP tables is like a super powerful command. Type each command as shown. Check for typos. All right, so we're going to copy paste because that's the easiest way. And there's no typos. We're gonna do this command first, and let's paste it in and see what it does. So remember, got to open this on the side, got to paste, got to close, paste, and then you right-click for some reason, and hit enter. So this will show you all of the current commands or all the current entries in the IP tables. I'm actually going to expand this a little bit. So and you can hit up and down if you want to do the same command again, because I don't like how it does the new wraparound thing. So it's all these things right here. Now, it didn't ask me for a password. That's kind of interesting. I thought it would ask for a password. Explanation of this new argument. The -L list and input list all inbound firewall rules that are in place at the moment. So -L will list all inbound firewall rules. And I'm going to add this to my list. So this sees my current things. There's a lot of stuff. Now we're going to step 2 is we're going to clear everything. So the -F argument stands for flush and will clear all the rules. So if I do this, I paste it in and then enter, I flushed it. And notice I can hit up command, do the -L again, and you'll notice there's nothing in there. So let's add this to our table. All right, I added that in. So next thing. You'll need to create a rule. So we wanted to get rid of the old ones so we can add the rules that we want, because there was like too many availabilities there. So we're going to create a rule so that SSH connections are accepted on the host. Otherwise, administrators will be locked out of the system and unable to perform maintenance. Add a rule that allows SSH. That's like the connections thing that I have. Like, I'm wondering right now. I almost want to try. I want to try this. Because we got rid of this SSH, if I close this, would it like not let me use this connections tab again? I'm going to try. And if this breaks it, then I have to reset the lab. Okay, let's see. I think. Yeah. I don't think it's. Oh, wait, is it going to let me? Wait, I thought it wouldn't. Oh, you know why it does? Because the default is like it accepts everything right now. It's going to accept all traffic. So I had all those rules, but everything that's not a rule, it says, hey, accept it. We're going to get to that later. Like, okay, we'll try this at the end. Anyways, let's get back to work. So we wanted to, I want to add this SSH connection. Because you'll see at the end. Okay. And then paste, and then right click for some reason. Okay, it added that. So now that it added that, I can check and notice I have this extra connection here for SSH. So what did this do? This says, hey, add an inbound traffic. The -p TCP says, make it a -p applies the rules packets to TCP, whatever, random stuff, blah, blah, blah. And then this says destination port 22 for SSH. So now remember SSH was port rule 22 on here. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna paste that into my. All right, next one. We're verified. So I like to verify again. I do that -L. I verified already. The great thing is you hit up and down on your keyboard, right? You can see the old things you typed. Easy to go back. Add a rule that allows FTP connections. So not only SSH, I have to FTP, right? Because I flushed every command. So this thing. Let's paste it in. You're like, what is that? Oh, I don't know. But okay. And you Control V, and then you right click for some reason. And there, I added a command. And let's say I want to see it again. There's my commands. I added FTP. Now, let's see what that actually did. So input, inbound, TCP, great. Whatever, because they're all TCP. If you remember from that table, different protocols. Don't recall the difference in all the protocols right now, but who cares? Destination port. FTP applies the rule to packets with the destination port 21. Oh, FTP. Oh, because FTP is on that port. So instead of saying port 21, we said FTP, so make sure it's all the okay, so FTP ports. And then the source has to be 06. What is 06? 06 is pump monitor. Because the only FTP coming in should be from pump monitor. We're on pump PLC. The only one should be pump monitor. So we only want FTP from that. So we're kind of not saying everyone. We're saying accept those. Okay, cool. So I'm going to put that in my notes right there. And we're going to add that in. I added a table. So several types of connections can be made many times after initial connection is made on an unknown port, 21 for FTP and 22 for SSH. Subsequent connections are established with random, unpredictable port numbers. To ensure FTP and SSH functionality, add this rule. Wait, okay. All right, so we need this. So apparently they use other ports if they're full. I didn't know that. News to me. But if you want it to, establish another FTP that's legit, but I have no room, come over here. I got to add this command to say, yeah, it's okay to allow those other ones that are related. I just had to park you in a different spot. So we add this command. So I'm going to paste it in here. Paste it. Right click, clicky, accept. I want to see all my commands. There, I just added another one. State related, establish. So it says related commands are okay to have. Now, we want to deny all other traffic. So remember when I was playing around a little bit earlier, like, hey, see how it says accept right here? This says, so what's weird right now is these are specific things that we say these are okay, but then we also have this thing that says everything's okay. Right now, everything's fine that it has the ports for. But what we're going to do is say now everything else is not okay. So let's put this in here. I'm going to paste, right click, boom. Now notice, when I do L input, notice it says policy drop. Where's the rest of my commands? Okay, so a weird thing happens. It always hangs up like this. So notice now it says drop, which means everything else that's not in here, it doesn't work. So let's add that to the table. That recording was paused this whole time. So, okay. My bad. So people in the video, we're testing those connections out. The first thing we tested was ZenMap. And you want to do these commands again. This was the first time. Ignore that one. Quick scan. We do this quick scan again. And we wanted to make sure this scan was working differently now. So give this a second to scan the network. This was this unknown traffic 1. Let's see if this still worked. Now, yeah, but let's look at pump PLC on this scan. Notice you'll only have one port in this pump PLC 05. You'll have only one port available. And then 99 of them will be blocked. So this is as opposed to before where pump PLC had like 8 ports available. So that shows you, yep, we blocked some ports. So step number 1 done. Close anyways. Now step number 2, the other unknown, was to do traffic between Pump Monitor and Web 01. So I'm going to open up Pump Monitor right now and try to do a website, web login. This is going to be user and password. Now, to do Web 01, I pulled this up in 233. We had to use the browser called Links and links into Web 01. And you're like, wait a minute, it still works. I thought we blocked this, but we didn't block this because we only blocked traffic involving Pump PLC. Those are the only firewall we configured. We didn't configure. If we wanted to block HTTP from Pump Monitor, we can configure Web 01 to be like, hey, only allow HTTP traffic from target Windows 01. But we didn't. So that's why it still works. We're not going to fix that problem today, but that's okay. Now, the third one was about doing FTP traffic from Web 01, trying to dump a file in PLC. We did prevent that. So what should happen is I'm now in Web 01 and I open up my PowerShell. I should not be able to FTP into Pump PLC, which is 05. 10 to 05. So usually this would work or ask me my username and password. But what happens now is it's just going to hang. And it should hang, like it's not even giving me an error message. It's trying to FTP in, so it's probably like keeps trying to establish a connection. There's a lot of back and forth behind the scenes. Bet if we did like a Wireshark capture, we'd see a lot of attempts to try. But it says connection timed out. So I was not able to connect to this computer. I could connect to other, but so I verified right now, it works. It blocked things. We're good. So we did it. I want to try like one other thing, Pump PLC. So that's it for the lesson. Oh, did I? Oh, remember? I think I blocked. No, SSH should still work. Oh, no, I'm already in. It's just lagging. So remember this input table? I want to flush the input table. And then, so if everything is like deny everything, but I flush this, then I'm assuming I won't be able to do any. I just want to try it. I won't be able to like SSH into this anymore. So I'm going to flush the input. Just doing this for funsies. I flush the input. Oh, it just. Well, I bet it just, because I've denied the SSH right there, I bet it just crashed it for me. Yeah. I bet it just killed, because the default rules now deny. It just ain't going to work. And they don't give you error warnings. It just chooses not to work. So there you go, folks. That's it for the lesson. We did it all. Wherever we were at. Take your picture, verify the rules, confirm. Confirm your operational requirements. Okay. Transfer the log file. You don't have to confirm that. Okay. We played around. You're done.